Hello, artists and creatives and innovators, everyone alike. Thank you for joining us on our Facebook Live.
Yeah.
I'm Emileena Pedigo of The Show Goes On Productions. We're hosting hashtag Another Way Town Hall next Wednesday in Soho from 6 to 8. And my guest today is the lovely, always innovative Mathew Heggem. And Mathew is in large part responsible for helping build what is hashtag Arts Meets Biz. So we're going to talk. Mathew's also panelist on the town hall kind of representing the dance industry, which is really exciting. So I wanted to introduce him to the world before our big conversation on Wednesday. So today's topic is going to be innovation because you embody innovation to me. I feel like I've learned so much about what that is because of your presence in my life. And I've known you for over 5 years now, I think. And I've seen you transform. And each time many times, and each time you transform, there's always a lot of innovation happening. So I'm just going to start us off with a quote here about innovation. And the quote is, "Innovation distinguishes between a leader and a follower." And that's a quote from Steve Jobs, which I think, again, embodies Mathew to a T. So, Mathew, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you've been doing? Where are you at right now?
Where am I at? Well, I am sitting in my home, enjoying a lovely view, looking out upon Alexandria, Virginia, which is my new hometown. And this is really where I'm at right now. I'm in my home trying to get ready for 2019. I have a lot of big goals, as you well know, Emileena, in my back pocket. And I had a very challenging 2018. A lot of really shitty stuff happened, but I learned from it and I'm moving past it, growing from the experience. And so I think I'm also, entering into a really open space and moving through an exploration phase as well.
Cool.
Yeah, so that's sort of where I'm at.
Yeah, and that's what makes me really excited about you being on the panel, because I think that as far as being a leader, certainly there's a lot of artists, I think, going through similar things, maybe not exactly what you've been going through, but certainly this idea of transformation and transforming yourself as an artist. And tell me a little bit about how you think innovation has contributed to the making of Mathew as an artist.
Well, I think innovation is a fancy word, right, for just change or evolution or transformation. So these things are all like packaged up, I think, in a family tree, right, if you will, of ideas. And really, it's sort of, to me, you can choose which words you like. And I guess maybe we could sort of get down to, well, what does innovation mean? But I think for me, where I am interested in this concept of innovation is actually transformational growth. And so when you like this idea of like, okay, well, innovation is about, to me, is about growth. And it's about transforming into what you aim to be, or what you aim for, or the world that you seek to create, or whatever the thing is that there's sort of, I mean, you talk about evolution. It's like this thing that's evolving. So the question about how does that relate to me as an artist, I think part of it is twofold. On one hand, it's a matter of understanding, and this is where the leadership piece of it comes in, I think, your core values, what are the guiding tenets that no matter what challenge you're going through or what transformation you're going through, that you're not letting those things go. And not in like an aggressive, attached way, but rather, for example, if you truly believe in equality, then make sure that that's something you're actually practicing, right? in all forms,
yeah.
right? Don't say
Embodying
you believe exactly. Don't say you believe it, and then when push comes to shove, or behind the closed doors, you practice something else, right? So that's like, you know, that's the issue with sort of a lack of integrity around your values. So I think part of it is understanding through transformation from a values perspective, what doesn't change, what is important to you, but also understanding that everything changes, everything around you, everything is shifting. And you also don't know, right, what's going to happen. And so I think part of it too is, as an artist, recognizing that your responsibility is to pay attention to where you're at and to be I think, in my opinion, a positive contributor to the evolution of society, and thereby, or therefore, truly expressing your values through the transformation so that others can see, right, no matter what. Like, one of my values, like one of the things I care about.
I was going to ask you, tell us about your values.
Yeah.
That you see have been
well,
the ones that have been kind of your thorough line and throughout your transformations. Like, what have you stayed true to? And I know you've explored that a lot too, in a really authentic way, which I admire.
Yeah. Well, I think, yeah.
So I guess the question is really like, where are those values now in this moment for you? For me?
Well, I was going to give one, but I think okay, so let me say one thing first. So I think I was going to use beauty as an example, right?
Okay.
In the sense that, like, you know, no matter what, you can find I believe that you can find the beauty in everything. So that's something that I try to do, right? And so in terms of the things that have become sort of tenets of my work, I mean, we talk about transformation. I think that's something that's important for me, not just in terms of recognizing that it's part of a practice or part of your existence, but that also it's something that I'm actively exploring in my conversations with other people, in the work that I do on a day-to-day basis, in the self-reflection work that I go through to challenge myself as an artist. I think another thing that you know, that kind of stands as a pillar or a cornerstone of my work, and it comes out in different ways. Well, actually, this might be a good lead-in, is technology, right? It's weird to say, like, right, like, I value technology. Well, we all value technology because we appreciate, if we have the ability to appreciate what we have, then we appreciate the fact that the lights come on. We appreciate the fact that, you know, water is clean. We appreciate the fact that we have computers to talk on, right? But for me, it goes beyond that. I think I've always been inspired by how technology is a feedback mechanism to us and our own evolution as a species on the planet. And so, you know, so that's an example of something like, okay, so fine, maybe the way that I've explored technology has changed, right? Like, it's, you know, it's gone this way, then it's gone that way, then it's gone this way. And then I get curious about this over here. And then I try this over here, and I'm experimenting. But at the end of the day, right, goes back to what I was saying earlier. At the end of the day, I know that I'm being true to what I'm doing when I'm addressing that technology component. I'm not forgetting about it. I'm not setting it aside. So would you say that's one of your values? Well, I mean, you know, full disclosure here, Emileena is my coach, and we're working on values and all that fabulous stuff. I think I'm struggling with the words, right?
But there are thorough lines, and recognizing those thorough lines, I think, are really valuable. Agreed. I mean, and I think, okay, so fine. Like, if I was to get down to the root of the technology thing and say, oh, is it a value? Well, maybe, except for the why is it that I'm interested in technology? Well, I think I'm interested in technology because I value innovation, and technology and innovation go hand in hand. Absolutely. Right? And that's something you #nailed. Nailed it. Oh, really? Okay, cool. Yeah. That's good to know. But that, you know, okay, so fine. So then, to your point, it's like, well, what's the value? I think the value is innovation. I think the way that it manifests itself is I end up finding myself in spaces where I'm grappling with technology as a metaphor, as an idea, as a concept, as a medium, right? That's why it's a part of the dialogue. Right, cool, very cool. And so now for some of the people who you happen to be a dancer as well. Your background is in dance, so you're
Mhm.
representing the dance industry on the panel. Your company is Left Side Labs,
Word.
which does some really innovative, cool stuff. And you also happen to understand this business. You have this business mindset from your
Mhm.
background in businesses and running an accounting firm as the CEO and all of that. So you
Mhm.
understand words like innovation and technology, I think, in a way that a lot of artists don't. So can you get specific and tell us about how you've used technology in your art, like in your dance work, for instance?
Yeah, totally. So, technology is a very big word, right? And it
Right.
represents itself in different ways. I think that very early on, like when I first moved to New York, I think I was very curious about how technology was used as a mechanism for manipulating the truth, right? And that was why I was so interested and inspired by the open source community, because they were recognizing that private institutions and even government institutions can create sort of silos around communities because of their use of technology. And it's okay if you have a technology and we don't have the technology, then who's going to win in the capitalist, aggressive, war-torn society. Okay,
Yeah.
exactly. So then it becomes this like us versus them thing. And so fine. So then I was like, okay, I see how much damage because media, social media, right, is a form of technology.
Yeah.
And it's used for good and it's used for bad, right? And then when you think about, well, where does this technology come from, and is it technology for the people, by the people, or is it technology for corporations, by corporations, or for government, by government? And it's not to say that private institutions or government institutions are inherently bad, but that at the end of the day, for me, I was always curious as a social activist, right? Well, how can I plug more into the open source community and use that as a framework for inspiration to create my work? And so then at that point, there was a sort of a stage in my creative career in New York where I actually built a character. The character's name was Artifice Hunting. And that character then had a life, not just online, but also offline, in particular in this sort of cabaret community that I was performing with, right? So you can see how it became like this source of inspiration, but also the source of creation, right? Because I was actually using open source technology to do the graphics design work, to create some video stuff, to do music editing, to really explore the potential of that technology as a tool for creation. I think fast forward.
Expression.
Yeah, exactly. Fast forward to today, I'm still at the heart of it, as we said earlier, still interested in technology. It's looking a little bit differently. This time, I think now I've kind of realized that the work I want to be creating is not just about dance. And so I'm moving into this space of saying, okay, well, what would it be like to create film and to put something on a camera and on a television or on a computer screen, to break away from, I think, on this sort of live performance environment and take dance to audiences who don't have access or time or resources to go sit in a theater, right? And so now I'm sitting here thinking to myself, okay, how do I go into the film space? Well, what has been fascinating for me, right, is one of the things that you have to learn as an entrepreneur and as an artist is you want to create something, you have to start with what you've got, right? So I'm sitting here looking at all of these digital technology devices that I have, and what I can do in terms of video editing today on my iPhone versus what I couldn't do 6 years ago. It's
Technology.
insane, right?
Yeah.
And so fine. So I think whereas before, on one hand, I was maybe curious about the tools and playing with them as a source of inspiration. Now, fast forward to today with this whole sort of fascination with video and film, I'm actually practicing the technical components of editing and designing and creating visual experiences through these sort of mobile devices, again, to understand, well, what can be created with this technology.
Yeah, very, very cool. We're almost out of time, even though I could go on about this topic forever. But I do encourage everybody watching to check out Mathew's work, because he mentioned social media. I think you're fantastic on social media. I feel like social media is your second language. You just really understand how to engage, and watching you experiment with all these technologies through and expressing yourself through that, and seeing a lot of dance and cool new ways that I haven't seen before is really exciting to me. So I encourage everybody to follow you on social media and Left Side Labs on Facebook. And one of the things I didn't mention either was your background in dance. So I also encourage you to check out Mathew's LinkedIn and his bio, and you'll definitely learn more about him at the town hall. But you'll see he's on the board of Pedigo, and you've worked for Clancy Works dance company, and you've been very active in the dance community, which I think is really exciting for dance artists to see and hear from you, because you're exploring this new ground. So thank you so much for joining me. And I want to, before I give you your last words, I want to remind everyone at home to check out the town hall. You can see more information on my website, www.showgoesonproductions.com, under events. You can RSVP for the town hall on Meetup. Our meetup is the Arts Lab meetup, which Mathew and I founded together. And it's next Wednesday at 6 o'clock. It's going to be very exciting, totally free. So come and participate in the conversation. Mathew, famous last words for today.
I feel like my famous last words are always the same. Call your mother. Right. But no, seriously, I think, we're in like a holiday season, and, it's good to have friends, but it's also good to have family. So, appreciate those that you do have, and move on, sister. Move up and move on.
Transformation. Right? Awesome. Thank you so much. We'll see you all next Wednesday.
Ciao,
one more thing. Tomorrow night at 6:30 is another panelist, Simone Maurice. So you can join us then to meet her as well. Yeah, another live stream. Thank you again. Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Yes, bye.